Alright, so I've actually tried my absolute hardest to make it so that this video would not end up longer than 5 minutes. I'm gonna have to split lore, like the reason why I chose the build that I did, into a completely separate video. So this is just going to be the build itself, and I'll do a separate video to cover why I chose the build and how I went about choosing it, because a lot of it is just decision making. So for starters, we're gonna upgrade every single last spell with the exception of Incendio. I would have also not upgraded Confringo, but the game actually makes you upgrade Confringo. Not the end of the world. I decided to use it because, I mean, you need to spend the point on the Confringo because, well, you need the spell, you need fire in order to complete puzzles. Upgrading all these spells simply turns your basic like spells into AoE spells, which is very, very useful since we're not using any dark arts. Everything in this tree is actually pretty mandatory. The reason like that this is like a very powerful skip spell tree is actually because of these last four. These four that upgrade your Stupefy and increase your Stupefy. This one sends out 2 blades. This one sends in a shockwave that breaks shields. We're only playing on hard difficulty using no heals, so typically shields are going to give us problems. So being able to break them with this perfect Protego is actually really, really helpful. There are actually a couple of setups that go into that guarantee a perfect Protego cast if you know the setups, and that's actually why you are able to see me do a lot of perfect Protegos in certain situations. Lastly will be the Stupefy expertise, which Stupefy deals damage, extremely useful. Just since we're using so much Protego, having the damage attached to the Stupefy is absolute love needed. Last is the Stupefy Mastery. This one is a little questionable. People don't really understand it, but mostly it's the stun that it does. Not on larger enemies, but it's actually the medium-sized enemies. So the executioners, the ones that summon the tornadoes, drop the lightning, and the spiders, the big spiders, not the Oracula Mansion, not the boss spider, but the medium-sized spiders that you'll find in these spider troves as a final enemy sometimes. Those are the enemies that this does the most to. It stuns them a little bit longer. It does stun trolls and bigger enemies for a little bit longer, but nothing like noticeable. I have noticed that on bigger or medium-sized enemies like the executioners, it does stun for an additional like a bit of time. This one is just makes the game easier as you're playing through the canon story mode. It's really, really like convenient. I would say get all of them just because. Same for room requirement. Again, it just makes the game extremely convenient to have all of these upgrades available to you as you progress, because you find that you end up using a lot of different things throughout the game when you do not have the dark arts to rely on. Next we're going to go over is gear, and this is where most of like the finesse comes in. We have control, since again another way that we break shields is ancient magic throw. This makes it so that our ancient magic throw will insta kill every small enemy. Being able to insta kill the small ones with ancient magic throw is extremely convenient. You guys have seen me in multiple videos just go through and throw 8 or 9 throwables and clear out 9 enemies that easy. That's how I'm making it happen. Next is going to be the concentration. Very generic, very love, increases all damage of all spells, obvious. Ancient magic meter fill rate. In the core tree, you see a lot of things that oh, your dodge roll gives you meter, Protego gives you meter, basic attacks give you meter, basic attacks on airborne opponents give you more meter. Yeah, having 2 of these attached when you have all of those perks makes your character gain crazy amounts of meter crazy fast. Absolutely the bulk and core of this build, aside from the Protego, is going to be our ancient magic. Being able to spam as many as we can to basically be in place of not having Avada Kedavra in our toolkit. We get to spam ancient magic and it insta kills a lot. So hey, trade-off. Next is going to be herbology. We are a Hufflepuff, filthy Hufflepuff. Not even going to begin to question this. We love our herbology. Moving on. Next is going to be ancient magic damage. And since we're building so many alts, being able to have that alt do a bonus 80% is absolute love. I don't feel like I need more than 80%. It'll have health most trolls that won't die. And for most trolls, it'll actually kill them. And the other half that don't die, I'll just combo them to death. It's not the end of the world for me. It's all about speed and efficiency. Last we're going to go over is the spell wheel, and we are approaching the 4-minute 30-second mark. Again, the spell wheel is actually the reason why I'm able to perform combat so seamlessly. As you can see, square and triangle are always purple, circle is always gold, red is always X for my damage, and this is true for every single last wheel. Now for the triangle, it's a bit tricky. The triangle is usually my combo ender. So for instance, Flipendo Descendo or Accio Depulso, push you into a wall, you're dead. Accio Transformation, when I grab grouped up enemies. I can do either Accio transformation, turn one of the three into a barrel, throw that barrel at the other two dead, or pull all three of them in if they're weak. If they're low like level enemies or weak enemies, a single cast of Bombarda will kill all three of them. Absolutely amazing. And this is how I do it so effortlessly is you should know all of your spells on the back of your hand. The colors are there for a reason. Use them. Give yourself some organization. Imagine that you were in a fighting game and these are your abilities. You should know how to do them without like looking at the screen. You should be able to know, okay, I'm on my left spell wheel. I know which combos I have. I know which spells I have. Once you get that far, seamlessly playing in combat becomes a breeze because I know all of my spells. I know exactly where they are and I know which ones I need. Sometimes I forget which ones are on cooldown, but that's a given. You're human, it happens. This covers up the entire build video. I see that I ended up brushing closer to 6 minutes. I am sorry, I really tried to make this as short as possible. If you guys liked the content, give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the